Good afternoon, folks, and welcome. This is Spoon TV Live. We're coming to you from Carey Street here in central Monrovia, where coincidentally, as we are right here on Carey Street, the Unity Party, led by Party Chairman Ami Modad, and several members of the Unity Party Legislative Caucus are currently marching a peaceful protest march determined to be shouting slogans as "No Unity Party, no elections in Liberia." This comes on the back of the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission upholding the ruling of the hearing officer in the CPP versus UP and ALP case. And the matter, as we all are aware, is definitely going to make its way to the Supreme Court of Liberia. There are other trending national issues as well, as highlighted by the DPPL political leader concerning what he classifies as the CDC pre-campaign that is happening currently in the country, with some light polls prescribed or having prescriptions on them saying we are 2023. Whether that is pre-campaigning or whether that is just a strategy by the CDC-led government to remind Liberians that the light poles that they do see and other projects are being implemented by the RIA-led government. I have a lot of people on the standby willing to speak to several of these issues, and we're currently in front of the Center for the Promotion of Intellectual Development. Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
I'm Rudolph Boker.
Rudolph Boker.
Yeah.
So we see you here on Carey Street at the Intellectual Center. Several national issues, trending issues happening currently in the country. We want to talk to you concerning a few. What's your take on the Invincible Park, the sports park that was recently opened by the president?
Oh, first of all, there's a kudos to the president for ensuring Liberian kids upgrade again by erecting or constructing a park known as the Invincible Park to upgrade the standard, the playing standard of Liberians. And as the president, we will always elbow and we pray that similar park goes in the rest of the county.
There are calls by many Liberians that the park is substandard, and others are also calling for what they term as fees to be paid so as to maintain the park, because usually in Liberia, one of our most major problem is maintenance. So what's your take on that?
Those are saying that the park is substandard. We're going to tell you now, 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Today, the president has constructed a substandard park. Tomorrow, he may construct a standardized park. But those that are saying that fees should be paid, we'll have to put that argument on the table. Because we agree to those that are saying that maintenance in Liberia is a problem. So maybe this government will maintain the fee, but what will happen with incoming government? So those that are saying that fees should be paid, there's an argument. We will commend them for such a brilliant argument, but we'll put it on the table for discussion. But this park was constructed by the Liberian government. So paying fee to whom and because is the cardinal responsibility of the government to develop sports. So that is one of the government responsibility to construct park, to construct stadiums so that our grade will be up our grade to the national standard. For those that are saying that state standard, 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Okay. Now, the Unity Party is currently protesting, terming what they are claiming to be the exclusion or the big hands trying to exclude the Unity Party from participating in political activities, especially fielding candidates from now to 2023 will focus on the Lofa County by-election. What's your take on the ruling from the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission?
The Unity Party is one of the oldest political parties in Liberia that subject herself to the rule of the game. So it should go on the street to protest, while at the same time she took the appeal to the Supreme Court, and it's a sad day for Liberia and Liberians.
Why is it a sad day?
Because if she had wanted to have gone on the street, then there's no need to take the appeal to the Supreme Court. If you take the appeal to the Supreme Court and wait for the opinion of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court is the last ever for legal adjudication of a case. You have taken a piece of something based on the NEC ruling who has sided with the hearing officer that you have to subject yourself to your freedom document. You have to subject your freedom document. And also to exclude unit party from not taking part in unit party in a constitutional matter. And same constitutional matter is not, does not allow with the NEC. Every constitutional case is with the Supreme Court, and you are waiting for the Supreme Court opinion going on the street. But anything to go onto the street while you are taking a view to the Supreme Court in the South for Liberia. One of the biggest parties who has just left office, who took oath on January 16, 2006 and 2012 to uphold, guard, protect, and defend the Constitution of Liberia.
Is peaceful marching or peaceful protesting, is it in any way an affront to the Constitution? Are they breaching any constitutional requirement?
Yes, protest is not part of our Constitution. The Constitution says peaceful assembly. Okay, but anything the Constitution to protest, then again our Constitution.
So you say the party is breaching the Constitution?
Yes, anything if she goes on to protest, then she breaching.
Okay, quickly before I move to the next person, the former Vice President, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yuman Boyka, he is to testify. He has been subpoenaed to testify. There are others saying the former VP should not go in open court, but rather there should be a deposition that should be done and all of that. What's your take? Should the former VP appear in court and give his testimony?
Absolutely.
Why?
No one above the law. According to the legal jurisprudence, the burden of proof lies on the accuser, except in a extreme case or cases where the burden is being shifted to the accused. But in this case, you are accusing one of your comrades, ABC, of authoring your criminal document. Unipart did not accuse directly, but she supported ARP. So she as
a co-respondent.
Yeah, okay, as a co-respondent in the case. So say no one about the law. Oman Bwaka, who is vying to be president of Liberia, who after winning election will put a hand on the take under the law, needs to go to the court to testify why he supported or you ready to say that or ABC or your criminal document. So if you take ABC to court without going to court to go testify, then where are we? Then where is the evidence that requires the judge minister is now asking the Solicitor General to submit evidence to his office? Because they who they accuse are not going to court to produce evidence. So then where are we? Why are you wasting poor time?
Okay. So lastly, sir, the Unity Party, some elements, key elements within the Unity Party, they are accusing what they term as big hands behind the ruling of the hearing officer and the board of commissioners of the NEC, clearly saying the ruling was politically manipulated. What's your take on that quickly? Do you think the ruling party is politically involved in the ruling from the National Elections Commission?
Those that crafted the framework document are legal luminaries of Liberia, well-recognized lawyers. CDC or President Weah were not part of the formulation of the framework document. But why now are you accusing foreign forces? When you won 6 counties in the last major election, did you accuse ruling party? Or is it now that you are having disengagement in your party? That your own heritage politics, you cannot understand it. They want to accuse external forces. We are saying UP is really dressing machine. Zero.
All right, so thank you again. Your name?
Rudolph G. Walker.
Rudolph G. Walker there, making his points heard. We're still here on Kerry Street. As I said, we're right in front of the Center for Promotion of Intellectual Development, and the intellectuals, ordinary Liberians alike, giving their own point of views, reacting to trending national issues. Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
Good afternoon. My name is Marco Nixon.
Marco Nixon. All right, so firstly, I want to begin talking to you, the conversation with, what's your take on the recently dedicated and opened Invincible Park?
Very good. I welcome it. The development of our country.
Have you been there?
I appreciate the president for carrying on development such like that. To transform the era.
But have you been there personally?
No, I have not. I pass. Pass the
era. You plan on going there anytime soon?
Of course. I'm a Liberian. I can go there anytime. Yeah, well, I work on the idea of development.
All right. So now the UP, currently as we're speaking here, they are carrying on peaceful assembly, reaching out to international embassies and missions in the country, stating that if there is no unity party, there will be no election in Liberia. You heard from key members of the Unity Party stating that the ruling from the BOC and the hearing officer are all politically motivated by big hands undercover that are pushing this, what's happening currently. What's your take on the CPP versus UP versus ALP saga?
Thank you very much. I get you place a people assembly, right?
Yeah.
It's that right. On the constitution is that right for people assembly. But even the CPP document is not about the constitution of the Republic of Liberia. So you cannot tell me that the CPP document is about the constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Constitution says you can associate and disassociate, right? So if the document framework political party document can deny major opposition political party for taking part in the election, they're joking. They're a joke.
Others are saying the Unity Party, the faction of the ALP led by Senator Dillon and Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, the ALP did not use the prescribed methods within their framework document to withdraw from the coalition or the collaboration. Hence, they've not legally withdrawn from that particular document.
You talk about ALP.
You
talk about Unity Party. So it's a Unity Party that you're trying to say Unity Party is not free candidate in the election, right?
Yeah.
Why talk about
My question has got to do with is the Unity Party and the ALP that this ruling affects. Yeah. And the Unity Party is the party that wants to free a candidate in Lofa.
Yes.
But the ruling does not only stop to Lofa until that matter can be resolved by the Supreme Court of Liberia. Those parties involved might not field candidates in 2023.
I'm saying, they're a joke. Because you cannot say you have election in the country, we have major political party contesting because only political party framework document. We will not take prisoner of the constitution of Liberia. Right? So you can't tell me the constitution say you may associate this associate. So if I come and say I will join for the group because I think I don't like it.
Using the right means, you have the right to
withdraw.
withdraw.
Even the right to withdraw. What's the right way to withdraw from the
There are prescribed ways to withdraw from the
What's the right? I come and say I'm withdrawing because anything happening, the document is in court. It's alleged that somebody altered the document. Based on a confusion in a collaboration. I'm leaving.
But this allegation has not been proven whether or not the document was tampered with.
So until that time,
there are prescribed ways. So are you saying, or the Unity Party is saying that look, all what is happening is just a mere bluff and the protesting? Are you saying that the ruling from the BOC is not in line?
It's not in line. Even the NEC is not responsible to tell the Unity Party do not feel anything. I think that case is going to Supreme Court in a conditional matter. Unity Party they say withdrawing from the collaboration, right? It's clear, it's not right. They are withdrawing. Whether it was not properly done, it be with the CPP, must have fashion to take it to court.
What about the former vice president? He has been subpoenaed to testify in open court. There are others who are saying he shouldn't testify in open court, rather a disposition should be done. What's your take? Should the former VP testify in open court?
Listen to Moali, the Secretary General of the Unity Party, on Spoon Talk. He said people working have not been subpoenaed. Working for a political institution who is a Unity Party, you cannot subpoena a man on a single man. And you can subpoena him through the party. Right? He will appear. He has not refused to appear in the court. Working about the law. He has said it over and over that he's a man of law. He believes in the law. So he can't say you're not going to know, but through the proper channel, you should be knowing, you will appear to the court.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so your name again?
Madam Nixon.
So do you see the Unity Party contesting 2023?
Of course, even. Let me tell you one thing. There will be no election in Lupa County. Why Unity Party? Even when they are going to go into the Supreme Court, they will stop, they will stay on in that election until they go through the case.
So no Unity Party, no election in Lofa.
You yourself, a no Unity Party.
No, I'm asking you.
Now we're Lofa. In Liberia. 2023. You want to be like one of ASU,
all right, sir. Thank you. Johnny
Madam Nixon.
Thank you. All right. So Mr. Nixon done 2 down, and we'll take 3 more persons, and we'll wrap it up from here. Hello, sir. Your name?
Yeah, I'm Robert Political Slaughter Ibrahimovic.
Robert Political Slaughter Ibrahimovic. So, Political Robert Slaughter Ibrahimovic. You've been listening. the first question is what the Unity Party is doing now. They are peaceful assembly going to diplomatic missions outside of Monrovia, stating that there will be no election if there is no Unity Party. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much for affording the opportunity. Firstly, are you talking about the Unity Party that let it come for 12 years? Are you talking about the Unity Party that carried guns on the grounds of CDC headquarters and killed them? If you are talking to that, it was established.
Allegation.
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 Thank you very much. If you are talking about the Unity Party that spans opportunity in the country, then we will follow the debate. You know, Unity Party is a connotation mission.
What do you mean?
I mean that you cannot say you are going to a Supreme Court. You cannot say you are pursuing legal matter and say you go to seek refuge to have an American empire going to protest. It's a connotation.
How is it?
What makes a connotation?
Yeah.
You and I cannot fight, and then I say, oh, my man, we're going to put, then I left the court, then I put it over, I start putting it over, I put it neighbors completely to neighbors.
Have they destroyed any property?
No, they haven't destroyed any property.
How is that analogy?
Man, you know, that analogy, because they are tentative remarks they are giving. I tell them for Unity Party not be clear, I tell them for Unity Party not clear. The big problem that they know how to prevent it, to create the business in the middle of the country, in the security and the peace of the soldier paramount. So while they are going to the court and they wait for the court, and then see election commission and grant a decision on Unity Party or the opposition to want to election successfully, they were posting and they say, yeah, indeed, the front judge we have to do it. Then they see election commission and say, hey, with all the evidences that you guys have provided, based on what we see as a legal commission, we do not have a legal understanding. You do not have a legal interpretation, so you please go to Supreme Court. A Joseph Parker who wants to take over the country as a leader, he has to protect the law of our country. Then he goes to the court. If the court shall come up with a final ruling, whether for or against, that law comes first.
What's your take on the ruling from the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission?
I appreciate the ruling. I appreciate because listen, we should be careful in the country. When it comes to law, when it comes to agreement, we have to be careful. Marriage and also other countries and other people that go to the back protects us with these traditions. You cannot say you have a free CPP free red document. You say, oh yes, we want to come together and I attempt for anyone to go contrary to that. It doesn't mean there are rudiments. You have to pass through this, you have to make concession. Article 8.5. Article 8.5 of the Constitution says that before one constituent political party leaves the CPP, you have the right to tell majority of things we agree. And once you build concession, so you need a Joseph Parker who claims to be an experienced person, who claims to be the elder person in the city. You should understand this thing. You cannot tell us that you want to go out on it if violating your own law. It's a contradiction. So you let the CPP.
Should he appear in open court to give testimony?
Joseph Parker should appear in the court to give testimony if indeed he has all the evidences that they claim that yes indeed moving finger document.
Do you see a Unity Party contesting 2023 or even the by-election in Lofa County?
Oh, if the law grants them, who am I? There's a country of law. If it went to the Supreme Court say, yeah, indeed, the Constitution is above all these things, then the cast contest, we just that will be there at the barricade.
All right. So my last question quickly before we move on to the next gentleman who's willing to speak with us has got to do with the Invincible Park. There are criticisms of that park that is substandard, it doesn't meet the criteria of being called a sports park and all of that. And the ironic part is it's just opposite the house of the former president. That place was closed for public use during her term for a number of years, and President Weah has transformed it into a place that many Liberians can have access to. What's your take on the recently dedicated and open Invincible Park?
Thank you very much. These are reasons why George Black should be re-elected. You said they are criticizing. Who are those guys criticizing?
A lot of Liberians, I can go out and get.
Who are those guys? They are those guys that yesterday they said George Black will not be president. There are those guys that say, hey, Georgia become president of what kind of country. There are those guys that say Georgia is incompetent. So these are the guys, you ask me, the invisible power is okay. If you ask me, you say the invisible, you know what? No. The invisible power will not only attract investors, but the invisible power will promote what you call tourism. The invisible power will not only allow our left populated people, what you call Zobo, for the way to go down, but will also provide what you call job creation for our people. These days now, when the children leave the school by 3 or 4, whatever time the school let up, they go to the ghettos for relaxation. They go to the ghettos for recreation. If you have a visible sport park that has been built by this person at his people's center, if I leave school or if my child leaves school at 12 or 3 hours all the time, if you're looking for a place, he or she will go to the invisible park where you promote the talent. Basketball, tennis ball, volleyball, all things. So those we as nervous. And I never said in upper silver, Eddie Jones in Ewa. You know, these are people who do not want to see them. Ordinary people. Manasali and Joseph Numa Braga, they have been a contradiction of the country. George Ria said, me, I will not spend an opportunity, but I will tap on the opportunity to put ordinary people. Then the reason why he said, the PAPD, all of the one, he said, power to the people. Right. He was talking about the subsidy thought of the ordinary masses to relieve them from comfort and prosperity. Right, so today, we don't slide out our movies, going for the foot. Just that need to be real right there. And most those spots will be doing all around the country. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Political Zlatan Ibrahimovic speaking there to us. We have another gentleman here also prepared to speak with us. Spoon TV coming to you live from Kerry Street, right in front of the Center for Promotion of Intellectual Development. Yeah, so the intellectuals are speaking. We are on the streets sampling the views of ordinary Liberians on trending national issues. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name?
I'm Isaac S. George, an activist and a student of the United Methodist University.
Okay, so you are an activist and a student as well. Political science?
I studied public administration and emphasis in economics.
Okay, emphasis on economics. Good. Now, a lot of things happening in the country. We kickstart from the current CPP versus UP and ALP saga that is currently ongoing. The matter now, an appeal has been announced to go before the Supreme Court of Liberia, having gotten a ruling from the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission. Now, the United Party is currently staging a peaceful assembly, moving to diplomatic missions accredited to Liberia as well. What's your take on the former ruling party now, having announced an appeal to be going from one diplomatic mission to the next, stating that if there is no United Party, there will be absolutely no election in the country? Is that statement, some of your friends have said, is a threatening statement that has got the propensity to derail the peace and stability of Liberia? What's your take?
Thank you very much again for that question. You know, let me say that I'm very much, dissatisfied, and I feel bad when I hear United Party as a political party who has steered the affairs of the Liberian people for 12 unbroken years. Going back into what I want to term as, a propensity of creating crisis in our country. You cannot say that if Unity Party doesn't feel a candidate in Lofa County, that means that no election will be held in Lofa County. If you want to, categorize a particular statement, you understand that that statement ranging from that political party has the propensity to derail the peace in Lofa County. And as an activist, I want to stand against such statement, because those illiterates that listen to this statement, they will want to pick up what they're not supposed to pick up, and then when electionary periods come into being, they will say, okay, our leaders have said it. Mind you, one of United Party's stronghold is Lofa County. So United Party say no election will hold in Lofa County. People who doesn't understand the issue, they will want to bring insecurity. And as an activist, I'm against that, and I want for every Liberian to be against such.
Now, what's your take on the ruling of the Board of Commissioners of the National Elections Commission that the matter should be constitutionally interpreted by the Supreme Court of Liberia. Elections matter, they will handle. So far, until then, the United Party and the ALP, until that matter can be resolved by the Supreme Court of Liberia, they wouldn't be able to field candidates, whether in Lofa or any other by-election happening in the country, until that matter has been that matter has been ruled on by the Supreme Court of Liberia. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. You see, the Board of Commissioners of the National Election Commission and the hearing officers of the National Election Commission, they work together. And the Election Commission has the right. Every other electionary dispute in our country, they have the right to look into that particular matter. The election law says so. So now, when the National Election Board of Commission and the hearing officer come to the United Party and say, go at the Supreme Court, carry an appeal, the Supreme Court is the final jurisprudent arm in our country, right? So you know, talk about every cases that's supposed to be properly adjudicated. So let's go at the Supreme Court and make our case to be heard. If the final jurisdiction comes from the Supreme Court, yes, then we can see the next course of action. But going at the U.S. Embassy or any other embassy, I think they just want to waste their time, because the U.S. Embassy decision cannot and will not influence the Supreme Court's decision. The U.S. Embassy is not more than our Supreme Court in Liberia.
Yeah. Okay, so should the former vice president be made to appear in open court and give evidence in the case that is before the Monrovia City Court concerning allegations that Mr. Cummings of the ANC had fraudulently tempered with the framework document of the otherwise, if you want to say, disintegrated collaborating political parties? The issue about the framework document that was being allegedly altered by the ANC, Mr. Alexander Cummings' party, I think it is laughable, because when you accuse an individual of something or of altering a particular document, you should be able to provide pieces of evidence that will authenticate your claim concerning that particular alteration, right? So the ALP and that of the United Party cannot point towards the particular alteration of that particular document that they are talking about. So what is the case? If Honorable Boyka is supporting the ALP's request to the Supreme Court that the document was altered, let the Honorable former Vice President go at the court, because the subpoena has been issued. Let him go at the court and testify. I think that will prove his leadership ability. That will prove that I am an individual of transparency, because I support the ALP stance on this particular issue. So what's your take finally on the recently opened Invincible Park there along the Tottenham Boulevard, if you want to say Old Road Junction, or just beside the Jeans Springpeen Airport? What's your take on that?
Thank you very much again for that question, and I've been yearning to be asked such a question. I'm of age 21. I was born 2001, and I'm a sophomore student at the university. Since 2001 up to 2022, I haven't seen a modernized park in Liberia, and all other countries in West Africa do have that park. So that particular park serves as a recreational center for the young people in this country. And if you go at the park, you will see a lot of beautiful things. I haven't been there before, but I've seen video footages and pictorial evidence that the park is very beautiful. So if you go there, you will see a lot of beautiful things. And I want to laud the president for such. The president did tremendously well to erect that modernized project at that particular locality, because I think it will serve the public, it will create job opportunity, and it will serve as, a park that can de-stress the Liberian people.
Okay, so thank you so much for speaking with us. Your name again?
Isaac S. George.
So Isaac S. George is a student of the United Methodist University and an activist in his works, and many Liberians that have spoken with us have diverse views concerning what's happening in the country. We're talking about the current peaceful assembly being carried out by the former ruling party, the Unity Party, and the issue of whether or not former Vice President Joseph Yuman Boyka should appear and testify in open court, plus the issue of the recently inaugurated or opened Invincible Park there. Others are saying it's a substandard park. It doesn't reach the description of being classified as a sports park, and the president and those in his camp are using the park and other substandard projects to get him elected come 2023. With the opposition still in somewhat of confusion, I don't want to use the word disarray, if it is an advantage for the ruling CDC. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, sir?
Well, my name's Richard Blamu Asamowanti, West Point Tech. I'm a here.
So I got the last name to be Mr. Kier.
Certainly.
Okay, so Mr. Kier speaking with us, such a lengthy introduction, but it's working. All right. So currently, the Unity Party staging peaceful assembly, which is well within their rights under our constitution to do, stating that if there is no Unity Party, there will be absolutely no elections held in this country. With the matter, with an appeal being announced before the Supreme Court of Liberia after the ruling from the Board of Commissioners of the NEC, what's your take on staging a peaceful assembly while you've announced an appeal as well? Are you for or against that particular action?
Well, let me say this. I think the action of the former ruling Unity Party is democratic in the sense that, Chapter 3 of the 1986 Constitution gave us the fundamental right. We as citizens, wherever we have any quest or any grievance, we have the right to peacefully assemble under Article 17 and to petition any state functionary as to what is bothering us. So the action taken by the Unity Party to peacefully assemble is democratic, it's constitutional. Unlike the issue that have to do with the dispute, between the two political parties at the level of the National Election Commission. First of all, let me make reference to Article 77 of the 1986 Constitution, caption, political parties and elections. So, Section A, the National Election Commission is the one that regulates all political parties and their activities. So, all of the hearings subsequently before the Board of Commissioners were all constitutional and statutory function of the NEC under our law. So for me, being so knowledgeable, being one of the emerging political scientists in Liberia, I'm not deterred by that. So they have the democratic right to go at the level of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of our law. Because the Board of Commissioners, even from the hearing officer, some constitutional matters were being raised or were raised during the proceeding. And when constitutional matters are raised during a proceeding, it's only the Supreme Court that have that power, to interpret the issue of the law. That is why, if you look within the Constitution, from Article 65 to 76, that the function of the judiciary headed by the higher court. So the action of the former ruling Unity Party to go at the level of the Supreme Court are all constitutional. So what we are urging them to do, don't threaten the security of the state. Follow or pursue the legal issue. And want to make a request before the law. I mean, the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of the law. Whenever there's any other law, inconsistent with the organic law, it's null and void. And that is Article 2 of the 1986 Constitution. So I'm urging every Liberian to be peaceful, to be democratic, use your constitutional power. That is why when you read chapter 3 of the 1986 Constitution, the caption is fundamental right of every citizen from Article 11 to 26. So these are our fundamental rights. We as citizens democratically we need to exercise. So you don't need to threaten the state.
Okay.
Because, listen, Article 76, it gave every citizen the warning. Because anything that you say, in fact in Article 15, which is our fundamental right, it is your right to freely express, to say anything you want to say, but you got to be careful of any abuse thereof. So whenever there's abuse, that individual, that institution have the right to take you to the law.
All right.
Or to the court.
So there are arguments for and against the appearance of the former vice president in open court to give testimony or to give evidence in the current case before the Monrovia City Court involving what allegations are surrounding alleged tampering or fraudulent acts done with the CPP framework document. What's your take on that? Should the former vice president appear in open court to give testimony?
Yes. For me, I endorse the idea of the former vice president, His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, appearing at the open court at the Monrovia City Court to testify as to what you know concerning the alleged tampering or forgery that took place, of which Alexander Bernard Cummings, the political leader of ANC, is before the Monrovia City Court. Answering questions that have to do with that criminal charge on our law. But let me say this. You know, that's why our constitution is very good. Honor our jurisprudence. It is the right of the court to subpoena through the prosecution. So when the prosecution filed a petition before the court or before the judge, the presiding judge, automatically the court is under the obligation through the magistrate or the marshal, to subpoena the former vice president to appear in court to testify. For me, if honorable or the former vice president, Ambassador Joseph Newman Boakai, who claimed to be transparent, why he can't appear in open court to give open testimony? This is why when the matter started, prosecution said this matter should be in camera, meaning
It should be on TV.
it should be on TV. It should be carried so that the world can witness. It was a sign to witness transparency within our jurisprudence. But the defending party objected to that. I think it was not fine for them because they requesting, for transparency, and they saying our judicial system it is not transparent. So when the prosecution called, for the matter to be open, in open camera, why are you refusing?
So no UP, no election in Lofa that has been. Can we come a bit further? There are chances that no UP,
from the former
no
ruling
election in
party.
Lofa, and this is from big hands, according to some partisans and stalwarts of the Unity Party, that this matter is politically motivated from folks on the other side. What's your take on such statements that no UP, no election, and this matter is politically motivated from the ruling party so as to keep the opposition in disarray?
Let me say this. That is why they have the right to hire their counsel. Their counsel will be the one to plead before the judge or the magistrate as to what is their issue. And when you start relevant law before the counsel, automatically they're going to dismiss the matter under the law. But if you don't have sufficient evidence to dismiss the matter, automatically you will be found guilty. And let me say this. Honorable Benedict Cummings will be found guilty. And when he's found guilty, he will fulfill.
Where are you coming from? Can we come a bit closer? With such bold pronouncements that the political leader of the Alternative National Congress will be found guilty of tampering with documents, forgery and all of that. Where are you coming from with such a statement?
What informed me, they have to do with all of the evidence and all of the narration that has been provided by the Solicitor General and Councillor Sima Serenius Silfo, who is constitutionally and statutorily schooled. Look, know, as an emerging political scientist, the Constitution is informing me that with all of the evidence gathered by prosecution, Honorable Alexander Benedict Kumi will be found guilty. And when he's found guilty, read chapter 3 of the 1986 Constitution, Article 21J. I mean, automatically he will fulfill his fundamental rights. When he's found guilty, I mean, he will not contest. He will not be eligible to contest in 2023 elections. And that is the law. So I'm not saying my feeling. I'm posting both constitutions.
But you just saying based on evidence, and this is a matter of evidence, and this is before a judge, and it should be ruled based on reasonable doubt. There shouldn't be doubt there as well. And this is matter should also, if it's a civil matter, then it's probability. But since it's criminal, then there should be no reasonable doubt at all. So are you saying from what the prosecution has been able to give in open court in terms of arguments and evidence, you think that it's irrefutable and the ANC political leader will be found guilty?
First of all, the Solicitor General pronounced as to how many state witnesses that you want Parade understand to provide enough information as to linking Alexander Benedict Kumi to this crime. So I think with all of the evidences, both in print and physical, of which that will appear before the judge to testify, Judge Joma Jala at the Monrovia City Court, automatically, and with my education as an emerging political scientist, I'm letting you know that Honorable Benedict Cummings will be found guilty in the competent court of jurisdiction.
All right, so lastly, before we let go of you, Mr. Kia, what's your take on the Invincible Park recently opened by His Excellency Dr. George Manawia?
I think the project is so laudable, and this is one of the signature projects of His Excellency Dr. Ambassador George Mane, the President of this Republic. You know, he said to the people of this country that he's going to do things, and he's the talk and do. And you know, look, my brother, if you give me only 5 minutes, when I start to enumerate what President we have done in 4 years, 5 months, I think your basket will be filled. So the issue of the park, I mean, it's so laudable.
So just give me 3.
Many Liberians, my brother, since 1944, in the Republic of Liberia, we just have the headquarters of the National Port of Authority. Since the foundation of this country, where Liberia is the nation that fly more fly on the sea or on the shipping line, today Liberia, under His Excellency, we have the national brain and molding built national headquarters of the maritime in the Republic of Liberia. And let me say this to you. Today, you know, our brethren are jittering, and because talk and do is on the floor. Leave from here now, go to the Rubber Fee Highway. You will see the 4 lane is simultaneously going. You need a rocket scientist to tell you.
It has not been paved. They're still doing it.
No, give me a chance.
But if you say the 4 lane, somebody might think the road has been paved and is headed towards the RRA. So please give your point clearly.
I'm highly superior politically.
All right.
But let me say this to you. Look in Ganta. See from Ganta to Logatwo border. From Ganta to Sadinkwili. From Ganta to Saklepi. And going towards Grand Jira. We are talking about road that is under construction. Go Banga. Living from Banga to the Lofa corridor. It's ongoing. What do you want we are to do?
Okay. All right. Thank you. So someone has responded by saying he wants work. When he asked the question, what do we want President we are to do? He responded by saying they need jobs as well. Folks, this is our last person we're speaking to. Yeah, and we'll see if we can wrap up from here. We're on the Carey Street, as I said, Spoon TV, sampling the views of Liberians concerning trending national issues as well. He's wearing this UL t-shirt, so if I'm safe to say, a student or a graduate of the University of Liberia? Yes, a graduate of the University of Liberia. Your name, sir?
My name is Mohamed Kane. I'm a graduate of the University of Liberia.
Someone just highlighted that we need jobs in this country, and you as a young graduate as well, how has the job hunt been, or you already do have a job prior to graduating from the University of Liberia?
Thank you very much. You see, I did economics. If you read about unemployment, passing around does not indicate that you don't have job. There are many ways people can be employed. Government don't have to take you or give you a letter of employment before you know that you have job. Even the moral body, the brother is right, the brother is employed. In a theory of unemployment, if you apply, you consistently looking for a job, and you cannot find a job, then you will say you are now employed. But even if you leave from there, go to one side, do your business, get your little $5, you are employed.
Self-employed.
Yeah.
All right. But you have not answered my question. The question was, if you are job hunting, if you've been successful, how has it been? Or you are already employed, whether self-employed or you're employed by an entity or an institution?
Right now I'm self-employed.
Self-employed.
Yeah, so I'm employed.
All right. So let's talk about the trending political issues in the country. The Unity Party currently, if they're still carrying on their peaceful assembly, but they did start this morning, and we've been informed that they headed to several diplomatic missions accredited to Liberia, while they've already announced an appeal before the Supreme Court of Liberia concerning the ruling from the National Elections Commission's Board of Commissioners. What's your take on the peaceful assembly as well as the appeal filed before the Supreme Court of Liberia?
Thank you very much. All our law, Article 17, it grants each and every Liberian to peacefully assemble, but your assembly should not be at the hindrance of others. And now, Unity Party, or let's say an individuals from the four constituent party took an appeal to the National Election Commission to disallow Unity Party from contesting. And the people called the both party, and they went into the investigation. And the commission came up with their ruling that yes, we will uphold this, that Unity Party does not have right to be a candidate. So this country is a country of law. If the Unity Party says that the National Election Commission does not have authority to deny their candidate or their party for filling or candidate in local county, they did the right thing by taking an appeal to the Supreme Court. I think the Unity Party should give the Supreme Court a chance for them to come up with their ruling as to how best to harmonize the entire situation, whether they will feel a candidate or they will not feel a candidate.
Now, there's statements coming out of the United Party, some partisans, not the party issuing a statement though, but some partisans of the United Party have said that without a United Party in Lofa, there will be no election in Lofa, and subsequently, if the United Party is barred from contesting elections in 2023, there will be no elections in the country as well. Are they overly emphasizing or overly stating the size and the scale, the magnitude of how important, how big the Unity Party is, or are they saying it in a way that threatens the peace and stability of our country? As others have said, that particular statement or those statements have the propensity to derail the peace and stability of our country. Was that an irresponsible statement, or those statements were they irresponsible, or they're just saying that the Unity Party is equally important, that if this party is denied or barred from contesting, there will be no elections in the country?
Thank you very much. You see, the denial of a political party not to contest, they only derive from the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has not come up with a ruling. Those partisans of the Unity Party are parading with a statement that without Unity Party, there will be no election. I'm a son of local county. I'm a bandy man. But let me say this. We will not allow a few individuals to tamper with the peace that we are enjoying today. If you feel that you are a Unity Party partisan and you say that without Unity Party there will be no election, where are you coming from? In fact, they should be encouraging their political leaders to make use of the law. You have already done an appeal to the Supreme Court, and the law says Supreme Court is the final arbiter of the law. If the Supreme Court come out with any verdict, even Jesus government will not change it on that judgment day. So wait, let the law take its course. But going around saying that our unity party there will be no election, in fact, it's a statement of treason. Those guys need to be arrested, taken to the court, and answer questions for their statement, because the law made it clear that you are free to express, but your expression you will be responsible. Even if the unity party will be denied, that does not give you the right to go somewhere else, come up, say, oh, this will happen, this will happen. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. Every you feel this in Canada, use the rule of law. Others did it. 2017 when Boston fell out, the election did not go well with me. He took it to the Supreme Court. And there was a verdict. And today this is a peace that we are enjoying. I think the Unity Party as a former ruling party, they should be cognizant of the law. But this are the law that we are using. It was started within the beginning of the Unity Party.
So what's your take on the issue of whether or not the former vice president should be brought to open court and be made to testify, that he should be subpoenaed and brought to open court and testify? Others are saying it should be done through a deposition. What's your take on that? Should he make his way to open court and give testimony?
Oh yes!
Why?
What he's supposed to understand is the CPP is a conglomeration of 4 political parties. If one party decides to go to court and file a lawsuit because their signature was tampered with,
Allegedly,
Joseph Numa Boka and any other within the CPP, they are under a legal responsibility to go and testify. Because Joseph Boka from the Unity Party was part of the Unity Party, or he's a part of the Unity Party. So you will not rule out Joseph Boka from now to testify. Then who will you take away and testify? And Joseph Boka is part of the CPP when they crush occur. And if I be disenchanted and carry an individual to court, and another person is there who is a party of that conflict, if I sue an individual and they fight away and testify, will that be a crime? No! It's not a crime. I think Joseph Boka, as a man, a learner, an educator, a leader that people follow, Joseph Boka should go in court and testify. Testify what went on. Because it is a signature, it is their signature that is under question. Okay. And these are some of the reasons that led to Joseph Boka pulling out from the CPP.
Alright, so finally, what's your take on the Invincible Park recently opened by His Excellency Dr. George Manawia? Others have said it's substandard, it doesn't meet the criteria of being called a sports park, and above all is an election project that was fast-tracked in order for the president to say, look, I've brought recreation to the country, something that we've been lacking in this country as well, especially for a park of such a magnitude.
Thank you. You see, in regards to the Invincible Park, well, God help me say, look at the current situation, the current status of the Invincible Park and Vision last 3 years ago. How was that place look like? I once practiced at that place.
Oh, you struggle?
I'm a footballer. I play football.
Goalkeeper, midfielder.
No, I'm a midfielder. I once played football on that field. But today, the structure, the way that that field was looking like, and today, you see a different transformation on that place, even if it is not at the level that people expect it to be. But you cannot compare Liberia's sport park to that of sport park in Europe. But what we have, it should be well manageable. We should employ it. And this is why when you read about the stages of growth, development, these are development. These are development. I'm a student of development. I did development with emphasis in economics. Now, that place has been transformed. That place will not be transformed more than that. I think the government will only identify another place to undertake such a project. But that project is welcoming, is laudable, and it should be commendable. So if that place